On January 31st, 2008, Steve Ballmer sent a letter to two men, Roy Bostock, the chairman of Yahoo's board, and Jerry Yang, the man who had co-founded the company. The next morning, it was public. Microsoft would buy Yahoo for $31 a share, $44.6 billion, a 62% premium on the previous night's closing price. 10 days later, Yahoo's board said no, unanimously. The offer, they said, significantly undervalued the company. You know that number, $44.6 billion. It gets quoted every time someone lists the worst decisions in business history. The number that gets quoted next to it is the wrong number. To understand the decision, you have to understand what Yahoo actually was in early 2008, because it was two companies wearing one name. The first company is the one you remember, Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Finance, the homepage that a huge share of the internet still opened by default. A search business that was losing, steadily and visibly, to Google. The second company was quieter, and it was on the balance sheet. In 2005, Yahoo had paid about $1 billion for roughly 40% of a Chinese company called Alibaba. Yahoo also held a large stake in Yahoo Japan, a separate listed business. Neither of those was something Yahoo ran. They were holdings, positions. And by early 2008, anyone doing the arithmetic on Yahoo could see that a serious portion of what the company was worth had nothing to do with anything happening in California. So when Microsoft offered $31 a share, Yahoo's board was not just being asked what its search business was worth. It was being asked what its search business, plus its mail business, plus a large slice of Alibaba, plus a large slice of Yahoo Japan were worth, all together in one number. The board's answer was that $31 was not enough. Hold on to that, because the board was going to turn out to be right. Microsoft's answer was that Yahoo's search and advertising business was the point. Microsoft was not trying to buy a Chinese e-commerce stake. It was trying to buy scale against Google, and Yahoo was the only asset on earth that could deliver it in a single transaction. Two parties, one price. Two completely different ideas about what was being sold. February 11th, 2008. Yahoo's independent directors reject the offer, unanimously. The word in the statement is significantly. The proposal significantly undervalues Yahoo. What followed was 3 months of negotiation that almost worked. Microsoft came up, $33 a share, about $47.5 billion. Yahoo said the lowest number it could accept was $37. That is $53 billion, roughly $5 billion more than Microsoft had put on the table. On May 3rd, Ballmer wrote to Jerry Yang and withdrew. His sentence was this: "The economics demanded by Yahoo do not make sense for us. $4 a share apart." That was the whole distance. Now argue the board's side, using only what was true in 2008. Their central claim was that the offer undervalued the company. That claim was correct, not arguably correct, correct. We will get to the number in a moment, and it is not close. Second, the offer was not purely cash. Shareholders could take $31, or they could take just over 9/10 of a Microsoft share. Taking the stock meant betting on Microsoft's online business, which was itself losing money against Google. A board is entitled to ask what it is being paid in. Third, a board that sells a company for less than the sum of what it holds is a board that gets sued. Directors have a duty here, and the duty runs toward the value, not toward the acquirer's convenience. And fourth, Jerry Yang was a founder defending the independence of the company he built. When that story ends well, we call it conviction. We only call it stubbornness afterwards. So this is not a board that failed to do arithmetic. This is a board that did the arithmetic, got the right answer, and said so out loud. The rejection was defensible. What happened next is that the two companies inside Yahoo stayed welded together for another 9 years. Here is where the popular version of this story breaks. The line you have heard is that Yahoo turned down $44.6 billion and eventually sold itself for $4.48 billion. Both numbers are real. Put next to each other, they are meaningless. But before we get to that, look at what the 9 years in between actually looked like. In November 2008, 6 months after Microsoft walked away, Jerry Yang stepped down as chief executive. Over the following 8 years, Yahoo had 3 more permanent chief executives. And the whole time, something strange was happening to the share price. Analysts kept running the same arithmetic the board had run in 2008. Take Yahoo's market value, subtract the cash. Subtract the stake in Yahoo Japan. Subtract the stake in Alibaba, which, after Alibaba's record public listing in September 2014, everyone could now price to the dollar. Whatever is left is what the market thinks Yahoo's actual business is worth. By early 2015, analysts running that calculation were getting a negative number, around $6.30 a share below zero. The market was saying that Yahoo's search, mail, and media business was worth less than nothing, that you would have to be paid to take it. Yahoo was still one of the most visited properties on the internet, and the market had stopped pricing it at all. Then, in July 2016, Verizon agreed to buy that business, search, mail, the sites, the advertising, for about $4.83 billion. In September, Yahoo disclosed a breach affecting around 500 million accounts. In December, a second one, affecting more than $1 billion. Verizon reopened the price and took $350 million off. Final number, $4.48 billion. That is the $4.48 billion everyone quotes. But read what Verizon actually bought, the operating business, not the company. What was left over was renamed Altaba. Altaba held about 15% of Alibaba and 35.5% of Yahoo Japan. When Altaba was formed in June 2017, that Alibaba position was around 384 million shares, worth over $51 billion. It made up 88% of the company's net asset value. So line it up properly. In 2008, Microsoft offered $44.6 billion for all of it. 9 years later, the part Microsoft actually wanted, the operating business, was worth $4.48 billion. And the part Microsoft did not want, the part Yahoo simply owned and did not run, was worth more than $51 billion on its own. The board was right. The offer did undervalue Yahoo. It undervalued Yahoo by a wide margin. The board was right about the number and wrong about the company. Because everything the board was defending in 2008, everything that made $31 a share look cheap, was sitting in a stake in a Chinese e-commerce firm that Yahoo had bought for about $1 billion and never operated for a single day. Meanwhile, the business with the offices and the employees and the products, the business Microsoft was trying to buy, spent the next 9 years shrinking until the market would not price it at all. Call it asset cover. When a company holds a large stake in something it does not operate, that stake starts doing the work the business is supposed to do. The share price stops tracking the business and starts tracking the asset. Quarterly results get read against the holding, not against the operation. A board can decline an offer using value it did not create, and management gets to survive years it has not earned, because the thing keeping the number up is sitting in another country run by other people. None of that is fraud. Yahoo disclosed the stake. Every analyst could see it. That is exactly what makes it dangerous. Asset cover is fully visible and still works, because it removes the pressure that would otherwise force somebody to fix the business. Here is the test, and it works on any company holding a stake in another. Strip out everything you own but do not operate, every position, every minority holding, every stake in a company you do not control. What is left? What is the thing you actually run worth on its own? Yahoo finally answered that question in 2017, when Verizon put a price on it in public. The answer was $4.48 billion. 9 years earlier, someone had offered $44.6 billion for the company that contained it. Yahoo's board had the right number and the wrong company. The next one had the right forecast and used it as a reason to wait.